Hello, dear students. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let us continue on with our discussion on intangible assets. So ito po yung ating part 2 ng ating video lecture on past 38. Now, as you will see in our description, no, ito pong part 2 na ito will be more of examples of intangible assets. As in our first video lecture, we have introduced to you some of the terminologies. Bigyan lamang po natin ito ng definition, and for some, we will need to further discuss, especially pagdating po doon sa internally generated intangible assets. Okay? So, yes po, pag-uusapan din natin yung goodwill and the impairment of cash generating units, which is under past 36, no? Okay, so let us move on to our next slide. So these are some of the examples that you will commonly encounter when you are studying intermediate accounting for this particular topic. Unang-una na sa lahat ay yung patent. Patent, syempre, pag plural. So pag sinabi po natin na patent, this is an exclusive legal right. Take note, legal right, because only the law allows it. Okay? Syempre, when we are talking of legalities, ang nagbibigay po ng karapatan na ito ay yung gobyerno. Okay, so granted by the government for an invention to prevent, invention ha, okay? To prevent others from making, using, selling, or distributing an invention without permission from the patentee. Okay. So dito merong kang ginawa work of science, because of your scientific discoveries. Meron kang na-invent na something that would really help, okay, improve the process or something. So meron po tayong tinatawag na patent that will protect your own invention. So ito po ay kadalasan under sa mga scientists. Although not necessarily naman mga scientists. Okay, under the World Trade Organization, and take note kasi kanina sa first video lecture meron tayong pinag-uusapan na contractual or legal limits, okay? So for patent class, pakitandaan po nito because under WTO, no, or the World Trade Organization's agreement on trade-related aspect of intellectual property rights, meron po tayong limit. Okay? Um, dito po class, no, meron tayong minimum period of 20 years. So someone can benefit from the patent for a minimum of 20 years. Okay? So, eto, tandaan po natin ito. We also have the copyright. So, if the patent is related to invention, yung copyright naman has something to do with musical or artistic works. So, dito papasok kung ikaw ay nagsusulat ng libro, you can be protected by the copyright. Okay? So it is also, in the same with your patent, copyright is also an intellectual property right. Okay? Intellectual, no? Okay? Work of minds. Okay? Property right or protection granted to an author for what? May pinublish kasi siya, may distribute, no? Na eto, no? Hindi lamang po for books, author of books, even for the artists, no, sa kanilang mga literary or musical works. Okay? Sa mga painters. So, for artistic works, no, publication, distribution, adaptation of work. Etong protection po na ito na ibinibigay sa mga authors or yung mga gumagawa, ang ating legal, yung limits po natin dito is generally for a period of 50 years after his death. Okay? O mas mahaba-haba po ito as compared to a patent. After the 50 years, yung gawa po nila will enter the public domain and pwede pong gamitin ng kung sino man. Okay? Franchise. Ito, familiar naman din po ito sa inyo, hindi na po ito bago. Prangkisa. Okay. Pag sinabi po nating franchise, it is a right granted by one party na tinatawag natin na franchisor, yung nagbigay ng prangkisa, to another party na tinatawag natin na franchisee. Okay? To operate what? Outlets using business concepts, property, trademarks, trade names, na pagmamay-ari ni franchisor for a certain period of time. Okay? Now, class, for franchise, ang term po nito kadalasan ay renewable. Generally renewable based on the contract. Okay? For a period indicated. Pag class, no, let us use the term franchise, okay? For the purpose of studying intangible assets, let us use franchise when we are considering a franchisor being a private entity. May prangkisa din po kasi for ano no na ini-issue ng government and we call it license. Okay? Although that is also a franchise. Although yun nga lang no, yung term no is a license. So mamaya no sa next slide pag-usapan po natin yung license. Okay. Now class, take note ha, pag mga private entity, yung kadalasan na inaalaw sa mga franchisee is to use the franchisor's trade name, trademark or process. Halimbawa, si Jollibee, okay? Yung trademark ni Jollibee, yung kanyang ano no, pangalan na Jollibee because the name of the company is Jollibee Foods Corporation. Okay, under tawag nito operating under the trade name of Jollibee. Okay. So, yun kasi no, yung trade name na yon as we will explain later on, ito din yung mas kilala okay ng mga tao without the necessary legal ano yung complete name of the company. Kung ano man yung nakapangalan nung in-incorporate ito sa SEC. Okay. So, kadalasan ano, for franchise, you are using the trade name. Si franchisee, makikigamit ng pangalan, mag-ooperate. Okay? And some of the processes. So, if I am a millionaire, no, sana, then I have the money to acquire a franchise of Jollibee. Eh, di pwede ako magtayo ng Jollibee sa lokasyon na kung saan ko mang gusto. Although, speaking of our example, no, may kamahalan, million-million po ang binabayaran to obtain a franchise from Jollibee. Okay, excuse me. Now let's move on. No, from the point of view of franchise na private entity, doon naman tayo sa franchise na government entity yung nag-aalaw. So si franchisor is a government entity. And we call this as a license. O, eto no, dito medyo mainit-init pa as of the making of this video, no? We have the, kasi di ba, yung mga bus operations, tapos yung pag-phase out ng ating mga traditional jeepney. So the government allows the jeep operators no a franchise to use the road okay for public transport. So merong prangkisa na ibinibigay po sa kanila, may lisensya. So for in the government no, in the government sector, when the franchisor or when the government allows a franchise or a license to the franchisee, it permits the franchisee to use the public property of the government in the conduct of its operation. So halimbawa, no, for Meralco and for PLDT, pinapayagan pong gamitin yung public land sa kanilang mga electric and telephone lines. Okay? Jeepney or bus operator sa paggamit ng kalsada for their transportation lines. Okay, so yan po ano ang lisensya or license. Okay, what else? Ito na, yung trademarks. Pag sinabi po nating trademarks, this may be words, names, symbols, or other devices na ginagamit in trade to indicate the source of a product and to distinguish it from the product or service or others, a product of others. If sakali man po nakapagbasa na kayo ng financial statements sa uh, note disclosure number 1, kadalasan it's all about the entity. So sometimes you will see there yung trademark. Okay. We also have these terms that are used similar to trademark. Meron tayong service mark. It identifies and distinguishes the source of a service rather than yung produkto. We also have the collective mark na ginagamit naman to identify the goods or services of members of a group. Pag certification marks naman, used to certify the geographical origin of or other characteristics of a good or service. Okay? But eto po kadalasan ang ginagamit yung general term, yung ating trademarks. Okay? So, yun po yung kadalasan ng mga examples po na may encounter ninyo under PAS 38 on intangible assets. Now, we also have internally generated software. If you are something into computers, computer technology, computer software development, ayan, you are developing a computer software which you will eventually sell to the general public. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng internally generated, internally developed na software. Now, eto, and as we have discussed before, yung internally generated intangible asset. Kasi meron tayong research phase and development phase, di ba? And please take note that for development phase, before commercial production. Kaya we also need to distinguish this line. At this point, there is already the beginning of a commercial production. Because when there is a commercial production, hindi na po tayo mag-recognize ng intangible asset. Kasi ito lamang yung start ng capitalization criteria at dito po magtatapos kapag nagkaroon na ng commercial production. Okay, now, let us show this to you. Example of costs that are incurred. Kasi syempre, under the research phase, i-expense po natin yung cost, and under the development phase, we are capitalizing it provided that the entity meets all of the capitalization criteria as provided under paragraph 57, which dito nilagyan natin number 1, technological or commercial feasibility. At yung iba pa. Okay? Na hindi na po natin iisa-isahin dito, pakibalikan na lamang po sa inyong mga materials or you can revisit my video lecture for that portion. Okay? At the start of the commercial production class, etong cost na ma-incur po natin dito ay inventoriable na, product cost. Okay? Dito, expense sa P&L. Dito, kinakapitalize as intangible asset. Dito, kinakapitalize natin as inventory under PAS 2. Anong mga examples natin dito? Under the research phase, if you encounter the cost incurred for planning, designing, testing activities, research costs yan. Okay? For development phase, pag merong cost of coding and testing, cost to produce the product masters, yan po ay development cost na kinakapitalize natin. Again, provided that it meets all the capitalization criteria. Examples naman ng inventoriable cost to actually produce software from the masters. Nag-umpisa na tayo, mga duplications na, mass production na. Cost to package the software for distribution, yan po ay mga inventoriable cost. Internally generated software, you are generating the software. Okay? Now, example po natin. During 2023, si ABC Company ay may na-incur ng mga gastos to develop and produce a routine low-risk computer software product. Una, completion of detailed program design, 130,000. Pangalawa, cost incurred for coding and testing to establish technological feasibility, 100,000. Pangatlo, other coding costs after establishment ng technological feasibility, 240. Other testing costs after, 200. Cost of producing product masters for training materials, 150,000, no, for training materials. Duplication of computer master and training materials from product masters, 1,000 peraso for 250K. And packaging ng product na naibenta, no, or ibebenta, 500 units, 90,000. Now, before I explain to you the answers and paano po natin ito i-classify as expense, as intangibles, or as inventories, you can pause the video and analyze this and answer on your own. And after that, now, assuming may sagot ka na po dyan sa iyong upuan, or kung saan mo man ito pinapanood or inaaral, okay, play na natin. Click na natin yung next slide. So, kinolor coded po natin ito. Ang unang dalawang linya po dito, which is 230,000 in total, these are research and development expenses. Take note, gumagawa ka pa lang dito ng program design. Okay? At coding and testing to establish. Wala pa po tayong na-establish na technological feasibility. So, ito po ay research and development cost expense po sa P&L. Yung pangatlo hanggang panlima, 1, 2, 3, okay, take note, after establishment. O yan po ay capitalized, no, and as a software cost, intangible asset. Also, the cost of producing product masters. Okay? Cost of producing product masters. Kahit na for training materials. Ito, we are still producing the product masters. Capitalize software cost as your intangible asset. And the last two items here are inventories. Kasi ito, duplication na. So, nakagawa ka na ng prototype or ng model, o eto, paparamihin mo na, duplicate, ibebenta mo na yan, or iti-train mo, for what purpose, whether for use. So, and package, ito, ibebenta eh. Packaging the product, the inventoriable cost ito. Okay? So, yan please learn to distinguish. That is our goal, no? How to separate costs, no, from the research phase, development phase. And sa ngayon, yung commercial production. Okay. Reminders class, no? Kasi if you are developing the software internally, in-house yan. Okay? In-house kasi sa loob ng company. Yun yung term na ginagamit natin in the corporate world, no? In-house. Ginawa mo yan. Hindi mo yan binili sa labas. Plus, kadalasan, no, the in-house cost of internally developed software is expense if you will be using it, no? Because it would be difficult to demonstrate how the program would generate future economic benefits. Maliban na lang, kaya naka-caps lock dito yung but. If ang purpose mo is to hold it for licensing or rental to others, no, you can consider it as an intangible asset. Kasi in that sense, no, you can demonstrate that it will generate future economic benefits. Kasi syempre, bebenta mo, magkakaroon ka ng revenue generation activity. Revenue generating activity. So you consider it as an intangible asset. Now, if you are purchasing a software, so bumili ka, hindi mo siya ginawa. But the software is integral to the hardware at gagamitin mo for your own use. Plus, that software that is integral to the hardware component of a computer is reported under property, plant, and equipment and classified as kadalasan computer or machineries or kung ano man ito. Kasi may mga PPE tayo, computer or mga machineries na kailangan po na mayroong software. Okay? So, kailangan natin siyang i-recognize as property, plant, and equipment. Okay. Now, if the purchased or acquired software is ibebenta for sale on a routine basis, ito po naman ay i-recognize natin as inventory. Okay? Excuse me. So ito ang ating mga reminders. Of course, no, for internally generated software, syempre, ito yung dapat in-house. Pero additional reminders na rin for purchase software, etong dalawang ito. Okay? Kasi hindi ibig sabihin na software siya, automatic siya na intangible asset. How about website development costs? And eto hindi ko lang nailagay, although andito naman pala no yung reference natin. Ito po ay under kasi ng Standing Interpretations Committee, SIC 32. You can read naman yung standard na ito sa ifrs.org. Okay? Sir, papaano po yung website development cost? I am developing my own website. Should I capitalize it as part of my intangible asset under PAS 38? Accordingly, sabi ng Interpretations Committee, no, expense mo yan because the benefit derived do not meet the definition or do not meet the recognition criteria for an asset. Okay? Sabi doon, hindi daw kasi considered probable, okay, that the website that you are developing is for purposes of promoting and advertising an entity's products and services. So, we should expense it when incurred. Okay? Maiksi lang naman po itong SIC 32. You can visit the standard para mabasa po ito if you are curious as to its content. Pero ito lang yung gist, ito lang yung ating summary. All right. Now, pag-usapan na natin ngayon yung goodwill. Kasi sinasabi natin na yung intangible asset identifiable while goodwill is not. Okay? And if the intangible asset is acquired by way of a business combination, we need to separate the goodwill from the intangible asset. Kasi any excess. Pag sinabi kasi natin class na goodwill, and eto, seldom po na makikita po ito sa financial statements. And kadalasan makikita nyo po ito sa mga malalaking companies na merong inacquire na ibang kumpanya. Pero for small companies, wala po tayong goodwill. Kasi internally generated goodwill is not capitalized. Okay? According to PAS 38. So, goodwill is a unique asset presented in the balance sheet, no? Na traditionally included among the intangible assets, although hindi po nito pinoposes yung characteristic ng identifiability. Okay? So, since hindi siya identifiable, we should properly separate it from intangible asset. Kasi nga, an intangible asset is identifiable. So, what is being done is that meron tayong separate line item for goodwill. Now, papaano nagkakaroon ng goodwill if hindi po natin pwedeng i-recognize yung goodwill if it is internally generated? Goodwill is usually, sabi dito, inherent in a continuing business and identified with the entity as a whole. Paano nagkakaroon ng goodwill? Okay? Sabi dito, it results from several factors like high employee morale, superior, wow, bongga, no? Superior management team, advantageous geographical location, effective promotions, quality product, and other factors that contribute to higher earnings for the enterprise. Kasi minsan, under a business combination, halimbawa, meron akong bibilhin na company, sometimes I will be paying more than the net identifiable assets. After considering yung fair market values ng mga assets and kung meron tayong i-absorb na liabilities, we are willing to pay more than that. Kasi nga, maganda itong company na ito, maganda yung reputasyon na nito. Okay yung kanyang strategic, yung kanyang location. So we are paying more. May goodwill kasi tayo na kino-consider. May illustration naman po tayo dito, but take note, sa paragraph 48 po ito ng standard, ito sinasabi, hindi po natin pwedeng i-recognize as an asset yung internally generated goodwill. Okay? Hindi ko na po explain yung 49 and 50, nilagay ko lang ito dito, but you can read this. Okay. Now, kung sakali man Eto ha, this is only the time that we can recognize a goodwill if it results from a business combination, no? Pag may biniling kumpanya at yung binayaran ay mas malaki sa fair market value. Okay? Let's have an illustration class, no? Okay, sandali. Bago yung illustration. Under IFRS 3 kasi yung standard po on business combination is under IFRS 3. Ang goodwill ay hindi po natin ina-amortize but tinitest po natin for impairment either annually or on a more frequent basis kung nagkaroon ng changes in circumstances. Okay? Unlike yung iba, halimbawa sa PPE na pwede po nating i-reverse yung impairment loss at mayroon tayong impairment gain. Okay? Or gain on reversal on impairment. Plus for goodwill, impairment loss on goodwill, hindi po natin yan nire-reverse in subsequent period. Okay? The moment na in-impair na natin yung goodwill, impaired na siya. Walang reversal. Okay. So, ito yung ating illustration. Suppose that si XYZ company ay binili niya si ABC company. Nagkakahalaga ng 4 million in cash. At ito po ang detalye ng mga assets and liabilities ni ABC company. We have the carrying amount and we have the fair value. At para mapabilis ang buhay po ninyo at hindi na natin kailangan mag-compute manually, pa-double check na lang. Ito at saka ito, ang net asset ay 2.9 carrying amount. But the fair value, 8.3 minus 4.7 is 3.6. Plus, no, sa partnership counting, di ba? Pag meron tayong merging of two sole proprietorship, fair value ang ginagamit natin, di ba? So, ganun din po. In a business combination, assets and liabilities are measured at fair value. So, we will consider ito. Kung ang net assets ng kumpanya ni ABC ay 3.6, pero binili natin ng 4 million, mas malaki ang proceeds, ang binayaran ni XYZ, magre-recognize siya ngayon ng goodwill for the difference, which is 400,000. And our journal entry will be this one. Re-recognize mo yung mga assets. Ito. Re-recognize mo yung liabilities, although green up na natin, Okay? Siyempre, yung binayaran mo, kikredit mo as cash, o yung difference, debit mo as goodwill. And goodwill is recognized, no? When this is presented, when there is a business combination, acquisition, siyempre, goodwill is a non-current asset. Okay? So, yan ha. We should be using the fair value when recording assets and liabilities acquired in a business combination. Okay? So, madali-dali lang naman po ito, How about impairment? Sa impairment class, sabi natin, tested for impairment, di ba? Pero wala po tayong reversal. Class PAS 36. Okay? Merong nababanggit na cash generating unit. Maaari kasing may mga assets na individually are not cash generating, no? But when you group them together, we can have an identifiable group of assets that can generate inflows of cash. And we call it a cash generating unit. So, a CGU is largely dependent of the cash inflows from other assets or group of assets. So, together as a group, they can generate cash inflow. Maaari kasi class, na magkaroon ng goodwill impairment, kung yung goodwill ay nakapaloob sa isang CGU. So, ito yung paragraph 104 sa PAS 38 ha. PAS 38 po ito. But the definition of a CGU is under PAS 36. Okay. Dito kasi, we have to remember, kapag mayroong impairment, i-allocate po natin yan in the following order. Magkano ba ang carrying amount ng goodwill na nandyan sa cash generating unit? Okay, ubusin natin yan. Okay? Kung wala na, edi i-allocate natin yan sa ibang mga assets ng CGU on a pro rata basis using their carrying value or the carrying amount. So ito yung ating example. So assuming no na meron kang CGU at yung CGU ay binubuo ng PPE, patents and goodwill. 510, 170, 120 respectively for a total of 800,000. Now, meron tayong recoverable amount 700,000. Mas malaki ang ating carrying amount. Meron ka ngayong impairment, di ba? Kasi when the carrying amount of an asset is greater than of an asset, we consider the cash generating unit no as one. Okay? So, the carrying amount of the CGU is 800,000 whereas the recoverable amount is only 700. So, kailangan po natin na ibaba yung CGU to 700,000 being the recoverable amount. Of course, no, pinag-usapan sa past 36 kung paano ba natin makukuha yung recoverable amount, and that is the higher amount between the value and use and the fair value less cost to sell. Okay? So dito class, since the goodwill can absorb all the 100,000 impairment loss, yung impairment loss ay dito po natin i-charge lahat sa goodwill. And our journal entry will be a debit to impairment loss and a credit to goodwill. Okay? So, yan yung una, no? In the order, carrying amount ng goodwill. But take, for instance, this second illustration. Ang recoverable amount mo is 600. So, ang mangyayari, 800 minus 600, meron kang 200,000 na impairment loss. Yung goodwill mo, 120,000 lang. So, anong gagawin natin? I-allocate po natin ang natitira, no, 200 minus 120, 80. I-allocate natin using their carrying amounts. Okay? So, yung computation mo, ganito. 200, 120 will be applied sa goodwill, 80 will be allocated to the other assets which is the PPE and the patent. So, ang mangyayari, 510 plus 170 equals 680, edi 510 over 680, 170 over 680, multiply mo sa 80,000. And then, you will have this. And syempre, no, pag may impairment loss tayo, tandaan ninyo, ang ginagamit natin is the accumulated depreciation. Or, sorry ha, eto, class, we should correct this one. This should be accumulated amortization. Okay? So, yun po, no? Ito yung ating illustration. Class reversal, pakitandaan po nito, reversal ng impairment ng CGU increases the carrying value of the asset other than goodwill. But the goodwill will not be reversed, no, kung sakaling merong impairment reversal. Okay? Ayan, not recognized. And that ends our part 2 video lecture. No, mas maiksi ito as compared sa ating unang video lecture. So class, maraming salamat. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is the end of our part 2 video lecture. Thank you. Bye-bye.